Hello there. We built our studio about 35 years ago, stone from the ground up. A difficult decision to make. 35 years is a long time. Now we would like to renovate, modernize, give it a facelift. Okay, we see what we can do. I show you what a studio used to be 35 years ago, and then I show you how we started. A very old picture of the old studio, very much analog, lots of tape machines. And the old position. The Hammond, Wurlitzer, Crumar strings, the guitar and bass section. So here we are. First thing you have to do is move everything out. Everything out that you don't want to be covered in dust and dirt. Move it everywhere, nice and clean, because you don't realize how much dirt you're going to get when you do a renovation. So we covered everything that we couldn't move out. Got to be very careful. I left the mixer in, but it's still got to be covered over very, very well. So a little look of the studio wires. The old wiring, I should say. And we took the old ceiling out. The white line is where the old ceiling was. So here's what the old wiring used to look like. This is a big mess. I got no idea what these wires mean anymore. Well, they were for the lights, yeah. Different parts of the old ceiling. In the middle of the room there's a big concrete girder, what would you call that? I don't know. This was a bit of a problem, but we have to get around this with different ways where we put the new spars in. We started putting the new wood in for the ceiling, balancing it all up so the wood goes in without any big problems. I use a lot of wood with very well impregnated so that there should be no problem with any dampness in the room. You now see the old walls. This used to be the outside walls, where the tiles are. This is what we're going to attack a little bit later. So I started thinking about where I want the new lights and the new wires. This has got to be done very quickly. That's a big mess again there. Has to be sorted out. There used to be a light for the studio when someone rang the bell, but this is not necessary anymore. Still one or two of the old pictures. I couldn't organize them all exactly. So, we have a wall there. We have some wires which have got to be taken out. And new wires put in, of course. So we started on the ceiling. From the back of the room. That's the first step. Both sides you can still see the white line where the old ceiling used to be. It used to be suspended in. We don't need that anymore. front of the studio through the studio window. The new wires are already in, where the new LED lights will go. And the whole ceiling is now in. I didn't do a time lapse on the video because then you don't really see anything properly. The ceiling is totally in. The lights have been checked to make sure they light up, because sometimes you make a mistake with the wiring and you can't tear the ceiling down again. Sometimes more difficult to renovate a place than to build it new. Now, the problem wall. This is what I need to change. You see a cold water pipe, which used to be on the outside wall. And I've started trying to knock some of the tiles off. You don't believe how hard they are. But I managed to get it quite clean. The power cable, which was hanging before, has now been put through the wall. Also, the water pipe. So the old tiles are looking a little bit better. That was the pipe, the cable, the outside cable. And a lot of wires which eventually have to be changed, moved round. This is where from upstairs the chimney has to be cleaned. As I said before, this used to be an outside wall, so this was always a problem. We've prepared the wall for the plastering. There has to be an undercoat put on so that the plaster sticks well, and of course a matter. So we started putting the plaster on. Everything's covered over. The left-hand side of the room. The right-hand side of the room. The window is screened over with folia anyway. We've started putting the blender on where the white line used to be for the old ceiling. Looks quite good at the moment there. Moved a little bit farther around. You can see the wires hanging for the central lights. Another corner where the blender was put on. We searched around for a nice wallpaper to go on to our new walls. A little bit with metal in, a nice white appearance to brighten up the room. To make it look a little bit lighter. Well, the plastering's finished around the studio window. And around the old switches, which they were buried in the wall. They had to stay where they are, so we had to go around them. Again here, we have to go around these. The white socket is a special power socket, completely different than the other ones. The outside studio door needs to be redone. We used to have a cork panel stuck on there, which didn't really look very nice. Very brown. We put some new panels on the sides of the door. We actually reversed the ceiling panels and put them on there. They look quite good. Fill the holes. The frame has been taken off, ready for painting. And the blenders have been put on there. There's still a space in the middle. It needs a blender on it. It doesn't look quite right. We put a blender over the cable box. As you can see, that was how it used to look. We had to redo the wires. Yeah, and the blenders are in there. That looks a bit better already. One side finished. Now we decided to do the windowsill on the studio window. I wanted to spray it, but that was a waste of time, so I had to paint it with normal paint. Cable box. The studio bell has to go. That looks terrible. The window's been painted. There it looks like the door has been painted as well. That's the old chimney hole, which will still be used to clean the chimney from above. The studio door in preparation for the paint. Some more blenders have been put on, and the skirting board not ready yet. The left-hand side studio is finished. We left the carpet in because it needed to be cleaned anyway. We started hoovering. That takes a while. We've moved some equipment in. Doesn't look too bad at the moment. Cable box has been decorated. I can still take the front cover off. You never know when you need to look at the cables again. Left hand corner is finished with the blender on the ceiling. The back corner is finished. Blender on, the curtains are in. Window has been painted. Door has been painted. Preparation, putting new wires in for everything. We're trying to work out where to put everything at the moment. Speakers have been put into position. Approximately, anyway. We have to check that later. Covers have been taken off. One or two more bits have been moved in there. The chairs. Mixer has been cleaned. It was, even though it was covered up, you get the dust everywhere. Has been cleaned. Works perfectly. So more or less everything is moved in at the moment. I got my new monitor screen there. My eyes are not so good anymore. That's why it's so big. Speakers have been wired. I didn't want to design a studio. I just wanted it to be more modern, more white, clean and tidy. I decided to use a laptop and not the desktop PC, so I can be moving around with it, around the house or anywhere, checking things out. 2 DAP machines which had to be repaired. They got old and certain things happening. This is a picture from the keyboard and the guitar room, looking through to the studio. My new speakers are on the top of my old Sonys, which I always like to use as a reference. I need to have a whiskey soon. So the renovation is finished now. We got everything done. I got a new ceiling in, I got new lights in, I got new cables in. I got 3 new walls, I got the decoration. I have new monitors, a new Technic. I'm very happy with it. At last it's finished. My wife has said to me, now you're finished, you can start and do something in the garden. Well, we'll see about that. Anyway, thank you for watching.